Hello and welcome. It's Theresa. Thanks for visiting my channel. And if you're new here, I am Theresa, and I am a full-time RVer, and I'm addicted to junk journaling. So I love to share, and that's what I do, is I just share. And if somebody gets something from that, that's great. If they don't, you're welcome to ask questions, and I would be happy to see how I could help. But anyways, I'm currently in Washington, so hello from the state of Washington. We just got back from having dinner at a Mexican restaurant in Port Orchard with my husband's sister, and first thing I do when I walk in the door is I go turn the lights on in the craft area and get to crafting. So I called this Saturday night. I like to call it like Saturday night crafting usually, but I have been doing so many things that I didn't know if I would get a chance to craft, because I was going to share what was on my desk. One thing I'm doing is I'm trying to do a waterfall, and I'm struggling. Where's my other piece? Okay, so I tried once and the mechanism didn't work, so thus we've got this because I pulled it off. So if I were to glue that down there, would it work? It gets stuck right there. No, it gets stuck right here. Something I did wrong here, and I don't know what that is. That's supposed to be there, and that would go up like that, and then that would go up. I wished I knew what I did wrong. Okay, so, wow, that's a weird noise. I couldn't get the front door shut. Huh? I couldn't get the front door shut. Okay. I'm gonna try moving this up. I'm doing a video. So if that were to go up like that, then just about everything would go up like that. Well, this is boring, huh? So, anyways, this, I don't want to really glue that in there if I'm going to move it, though. Okay, so I'm going to make one more try with this. I feel like this should be glued down better on there. Maybe that's the problem. Let me try gluing that down better. Then I'm going to take another piece, another strip of paper. Nobody's going to want to watch this video. It's going to be too boring, because I don't know what I'm doing. Fold that. And then fold that. And then put that up here. And then put that right there. Now it doesn't even feel like it's sitting right. It feels kind of warped. And then it stops right there. Oh wait, I think I see it. I think it's catching right here. What do I have? What do I have? Okay, I can't figure it out. I may have to trash the whole thing because I can't figure it out. Something just doesn't seem to be right here. It's like there's two pieces on the same thing. This is where I was trying to smooth it out, was right here. Oh, this is going to be a boring video. Maybe it's catching right there. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I've been using my sanding disc a lot. About time to replace it. Okay, let's try it again. I was working on resting some bits this week, so that's part of the stuff that I have on my desk. And some of it is fallen on the floor. And I have to excuse me, had to sneeze. I'm going to try and make it looser this time, the band. Okay. I told my husband I was going to have to get him to watch the videos so he could figure out the mechanism part of this, because for the life of me, I'm not getting it. Doesn't work this time, I'm just going to leave it in here, and I'm just going to not bother with it anymore. Where'd my needle go? Stick to my sweater. There it is, way over there. Okay, one more try. And then it stops right there. It goes so smooth until it gets to right there. Okay, so if I take this one off, and then I go like this. Nope, it still stops right there. wants to. It really did want to. When I wiggled it, so that suggests to me that there's still something that is holding it up. So I am live, and I am peeking over at the chat once in a while. So if you would like to say hi, I'm happy to say hi back to you and answer any questions, which you don't want to ask me any questions because it's obvious I don't know what I'm doing. Just going to kind of watch it. Okay, now this is where it comes down. And it wants... Oh, I see something right there. Yep, that's it right there. This right here is coming up and catching. Hi, Joan. I'm good. How are you? Have you been watching me struggle with this? Hi, Beth. How are you? Nice chat earlier, Beth. We just got back from having dinner. Man, this thing is giving me a run for my money. Wow, that looks messy there. But I'm closer. I know why it's giving me one problem. And that was because this was getting stuck. So it's starting to move a little bit better. And this has come off because I've taken it off and on so many times. So I'm going to try putting it on one more time, and I'm just going to put it to the side and give it a chance to... Whoops, wait a minute. Where would that go? Right there? Probably. Yeah, so same with me, you guys. I'm using my iPad to stream, and then I use my computer. I know. This is why I don't do this kind of thing, Joan. This is why I do just messy, grungy junk journaling. Because measuring and stuff is not my forte. So I'm going to let that dry. Just going to put this to the side. And I use cardstock instead of paper, and that might be part of the problem too. So it looks like I'm just going to have to do another one. Because it's kind of thick anyways, and I don't like chunky stuff. But this kit to do this waterfall is from Victoria Design, and it was a freebie. Oh well. Enough is enough, Theresa. You can quit messing around with that. It's boring. So how's everybody doing tonight? Okay, so I have, I rusted some bits. Like, look at this one. Let me see if I can find it. I had a little motorcycle charm. I guess I didn't put it back in here. These do not rust. I found that out. But my paper clips rust enough to make me happy. And then I tried rusting an eyelet, and that worked out pretty good. It's just a crapshoot as to which pieces you have that are real metal and which are like, what is it, galvanized young, that they don't rust. This one rusted. I was happy with that. And this is a Tim Holtz brad. So you have that one, and I think this one rusted. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I only had one in there. Okay, so that one that did rust was from, oh wait, this isn't Tim Holtz. Oh yes it is, I just put it in a different container. And I tried the silver looking ones. And the way I rust is I put in vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, and salt. And that's how I rust. And these little paper clips, they rusted up nicely. I can't believe that motorcycle's not in here when all this other stuff is in here. The motorcycle rusted a lot. It was funny how much it rusted. But I must have put it somewhere where it wouldn't get lost, and I can't find it. Okay, so let's move on. So whenever I rust, I usually will put some kind of texture pieces in the rust water. So I have eyelash trim that I rusted, and Tim Holtz fabric, and just a piece of scrap lace that I had, another piece of scrap lace, some fabric that I got from Arizona last year, and a handkerchief that I had in my stash. So that's what I did for rusting textiles. And I have been trying to use stuff that's on my desk. So last week I took apart a book. I took apart a couple books, an Ireland book and a president type book. Messages and Papers of the Presidents. And this book is from, see if I can find the copy page. Probably not. I think it's a relatively old book. Yeah, I don't know where the copy page is. Copyright. Ooh, maybe right here. 1897. Yeah, that's a good idea, Beth. Stamping on the hanky. So I took this book apart and I've been using the pages. And I've been using some of the stuff that I tore up from here. And I rested on some various pieces of paper. I have them all sitting over here. I noticed when Louisa Heinzel uses her rust water, which I don't think she does it the same way. I think she puts rusty bits in water and gets rust water that way. But I make my own rust water with normal pieces, you know, that start off like this, and then put them in that, and because it rusts up these pieces that are normal, then I get rust water. And so I put some on here, and there was a coffee dye on this first. I feel like when the rust water hits the coffee dye paper that it turns it gray. So I just did some different rust pieces. Put just a little bit of rust there on some index cards, on some book page. Ooh, it stinks. So that's what I did there. And then I've been making some ephemera. So I had these cards and they had been coffee dyed, and I put the rust water on there and it turned gray on here too. I'm not really sure I like this piece being on here because I really like my butterfly, and I don't like my butterfly getting covered up. This, I was watching Roxy's Creations today, and she did some matchbook pieces with printed on vellum, and I didn't have any printed on vellum at the time, but I did have these book pages on my desk. So I took a couple of book pages for to make it sturdy, and I made a matchbook. So I've got just some papers in here, and then I decorated. And I went crazy decorating. I kept adding and adding, and I'd say, oh, don't get carried away, and then I'd add some more, and then I'd say, don't get carried away, and I'd add some more. Just another banner clip using textiles. Here's another banner. I'm not sure I like this. It's pretty grungy. Here's a page tab. So it would go on a page. Oh, actually, this is a hidden paperclip page tab. And if my hand will hold still, I'll get that on there. It won't go on real far because of the eyelet. So it's going to stop where the eyelet is. But that makes a cool page tab in a journal. This is another one that I would just glue it on, like that. I'd line these edges up, and it would be like that. And I might like put glue here, here, and here, and make this a little tuck spot right there. That would be cool. Then we just have something that could be used for a journal card. And here's a pocket, but could put it like on the side like that. I don't think I would ever do that. I'd probably just put it on the bottom like that. Yeah, well, that's what normal people do, Joan. And I kept asking my husband, do you have any old nuts and bolts and screws and stuff? And he's like, no, I do everything I possibly can to make sure none of my stuff is rusted. So I was like, fine, I'll make my own rust. And I did. And so this was just something that I concocted with the pieces on my desk. So I started off with this background piece, and then I put a piece like this right here, and it's kind of it's a tuck spot that I put this little tag in, and then I did another tuck spot right here, and I took this very thin piece of paper from that book that I tore apart. It's like tissue. I'd be very careful with it because it's like fragile. And it's something about signing the Emancipation Proclamation hangs over the landing of the Eastern Grand Staircase in the Capitol. Blah, blah, blah. So I thought that might work as a piece of paper for writing on. So then I just tucked that in there. And then I hinged this piece onto here with washi tape. So I used the Tim Holtz washi tape on the outside. And then I took a Tim Holtz piece, and I always tear the thickness off of these, and I saved it in case I want to do something with it. So then I get double bang for my buck. So I take this and I split it close to the top, and I take all of this chipboard off of here. This is just a scrap to play with, and anyways, that would just be glued onto a page, and you've got 2 tuck spots, you've got a flip, could just glue and make so that this is open, and this could be another pocket, or it could be a tuck spot. This is very versatile. So then I started making paper ruffles. So I was just making a little bit of everything this last couple of days. Oh, I didn't show this one. This is a little envelope made with some of that paper. No, this is made with a scrap. And then I use see, I have a bunch of these cards. They're this size, and they're not ink pad card size or ATC card size. It's like 1/4 of an inch too much or something like that. And I think I just got them from somewhere. This was coffee dyed, and then I did some rust on it, and then I stamped it, and then I stamp embossed and heat embossed it. And I have a dried flower here on the side, and then just a little Tim Holtz, and this is actually a paint chip. Okay, next. I wasn't really working on these, but I was looking at these today. So these are a kit from a UK gal. I can't remember what her name is right now, but the kit has volume 1 and volume 2, and this was a free kit, and it's a different kind of binding system. So the binding is not sewn in. It's what is it? It's just slides in like that. And then these papers are all glued together. And this is coming up, so it needs glued down. Need a little surgery. Oh boy, we're already at 43 minutes. So the other day I was thinking about getting rid of these because I really don't use them. But then I thought, well, maybe I might. So the first book is more like an instruction book on making junk journals. Come on. So as you can see, it can be fiddly. Like I said, this first book is like a how-to book on making junk journal. Like, what is a junk journal? Do I have to just use junk recycled items? What's the point of making one? How to start? Glossary of junk journal terms. And then, oh no, this is still hers. Equipment materials, but I added to this kit. And I just checked off the things that I have. I have everything that she has listed here except for I don't have a hair straightener. My magazines are vintage magazines. I don't have any like modern magazines. And then I have like National Geographic, which might be a little bit more modern. Some other things that I have that weren't on this list was mulberry paper and what I call do-it-yourself paper, which is, to me, that's that homemade paper that you get from Taperology or somewhere. Excuse me. I don't have toilet paper kitchen rolls. I don't collect those. But I don't have household paint. I don't have iridescent medium paints. Because isn't that like neon iridescent? I'm not a fan of neon. I don't have Colau, which most of us can't get that here in the United States. Maybe somebody knows of a source, but I don't. I don't have wood glue. I do have drywall tape and bookbinding tape that weren't on this list of adhesives. I don't have travel documents, and I don't have menus, and I don't have film strip negatives, and I probably could have put this over here. I don't have vintage measure tape. So this is just for me to have an idea of what I'm on the lookout for. We went thrift shopping today. Oh, that would be cool to see a video of you making homemade paper, Joan. We went thrift shopping today, and there were some things that weren't too bad. My husband was showing me some things, and I was like, no, I have so much of that kind of thing that if it's not like $3 and under, I'm not even going to consider it for a book. If it's a postcard, I'm not going to consider them unless they're 50 cents each. I'm not going to pay $1. I'm not going to pay $4 for a hanky. I don't even need any more hankies. I've got plenty. So nothing appealed to me because I've got it already. Now, this is Susan from I Totally Love It. This is her spreadsheet that I just printed off on a piece of paper. And this page is theme ideas. This page is more of what we were looking at earlier, items and materials that you might want to include in your journal. So on top of everything that Susan has listed here, which I have everything checked off, there's not one thing that I don't have checked off. So I also have rusty pieces. I also have coins. I also have mica. I have the powders as well as the mica pieces. I also have laundry tags, bookbinding parts. That's something I've been collecting recently. And that's from the binding of the book. And I did use that on some of this ephemera. Right here. That's a little piece of bookbinding part right there. I remember about 2 years ago for Junk Journal January, that was one of the prompts. And I can't remember what Meg called it. I think she just called it bookbinding material. And at the time, I didn't understand what it meant. But now I know that it means, and I have a big piece here somewhere. Not sure where I put it. Yes, I am. I think it's in here. Or not. or not. This is all my junk. This is all my trash. I'm gonna have to think about where I put that. It was a big piece and it was precious to me, so I thought I put it in a safe place. Darn it. Okay. Bookbinding. Lobster claw clips, I have those. I have military laundry pins that were on the list. I have embossed items. And instead of liquid pearls, I have Stampin' Up! Enamel drops. But it's really cool that I have all of these pieces. And like I said, well, the whole reason why I did this in the first place was because I wanted to just be able to, maybe if I was in the mood, to pull this out and assist me with making a journal. You know, obviously I know how to do all this stuff. I have all these things and everything, but sometimes we forget what things we have. So I thought it might assist me in that way to help me remind me what I have. And then these are items to make, and it didn't print out very good, but this says regular tags, tags with hidden journal spots, tags with belly bands. So then I added a few things. I added viewfinder wheel, index cards, seed envelopes, and this says specimen card, but I added slide here. And then all of these pockets open up and I can put stuff in them. And then there's just more instructions on making a cover, making signatures, how to attach the signatures, either 3-hole or 5-hole, dyeing your papers, places for notes, and that's volume 1. Having a terrible time with getting things to fit today. There we go. And then this is volume 2, and it's just more, could be used as an idea book. So I've got like a pocket there and a tuck spot there and another tuck spot there and there. So this can be an idea book for ephemera. Could be used to put ephemera in it. So I haven't done a lot with that. But I have to I have to admit that my most favorite thing to do is to make ephemera books. I like them big. I like them small. I like them chunky when they will stay closed, chunky. I like them organized. So this one is organized for line dot arrow postal, nurse from Gez. That's his bingo because this is the only place I have a bingo card, I think. This is old stuff from Old Design Shop. Aw, thanks, Sweet Notes. What's your name? What's your first name? And this is grunge from, I want to say, oh, Old Shop there too. I was going to say Crafty Cat. So I think I've got some Crafty Cat stuff in here too. This is more for ephemera. So this, well, this has pocket ideas, and this has journal cards and tags and all kinds of stuff. Labels, corner pockets. This has tabs in it, more labels, more labels. Oh, it's nice to meet you too, Rose. Beth, you're leaving? Oh, okay. Good night, Beth. Have a good evening. Here we got circles, and we've got tickets. More tickets. This is empty. Here we've got cards. More cards. These are all labels. These are scraps. Oh goodness. That is, yeah, it is time for bed for you, Beth. Tags, big tags. This is, I don't know what to call this. Well, you should do that, Joan. You need to be comfy. So this folds out and it has pockets. So it might be handy for like putting labels in or something like that. Or maybe small pieces of paper for little notes. Corner pockets. Big labels. More labels. Big labels. Little piece of cutout ephemera. Little like fussy cuts is what these are. What are you going to watch on TV? And I'm at an hour, so I need to quit anyways. These are little tags. More fussy cuts. Lots of stuff in this one. This was a freebie kit from Ink Page and More. More tags. Lots of different pockets and tuck spots in here. And that closes so nicely too. I loved this one and this one. And the reason why they close so nicely, you can stuff them full, but they're not really an alligator mouth, is because of the binding system on these. So this is just a glued binding system. There's like 4 signatures. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 signatures, and look at how much stuff and everything. But it's the way that it's put together that it's not an alligator mouth. It holds a lot of stuff. It's fun. It sits nicely. This one is 1, 2, 3 signatures. This one is a Midori binding system. So these signatures will slide in and out because they're held in with elastic. And my ephemera is going all over the place. But I love this one. I use this ephemera book a lot. So Rose, how did you find me? This is my newest ephemera book, and for this one I focused more on pre-made ephemera, like this stuff. And I don't usually do that. Usually I take pre-made ephemera and I put it in a bin, but I wanted to see what it would be like to have an ephemera book that had pre-made ephemera. So this is an alligator mouth. It's very chunky, so it definitely needs to be tied up tight. But there's everything in here is pre-made ephemera. Stuff that could go right into a journal. This, I just tucked that in there. I haven't decided what to do with this page yet. I was going to sew it in. I was actually going to sew in a signature in here, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I didn't want it to be real chunky. This isn't my favorite anyways. These colors are not me. This was me playing, but it went south on me, really. This is not my thing. This is more me, right here. That's not supposed to be bent down like that. Oh, yeah. I wondered if it was somehow you found me through Joan. Thanks, Joan. There's some more matchbook pieces. These are tiny ones. My throat's getting dry. But yeah, this is all pre-made ephemera. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a night, you guys. Thank you very much for your time and for visiting me. I don't know where that came from. And I hope you have a great evening, and I hope that you'll come back and visit another time. And I hope I'll have something entertaining for you at that time. I don't think that I've done a full flip through of my Raggedy Turtle Bloom journal. It is done, and maybe I'll do that tomorrow, do a flip through of that. I am planning to start a new series called Writing in My Journal, and I was in Beth's live chat tonight, and she was talking about how she used to do devotions, and I thought, okay, I have written scripture verses in my journals before, but I haven't really done like devotions, so I may do some research and see if I can find some devotions to like use this like a prompt, and then I will write my ideas about the devotion, and maybe you guys can share ideas in the chat, and maybe you can journal along with me writing in your own journal. So thanks guys for all your kind words. Sweet notes to as Rose said, nice to have met me, and it sure was nice to meet you. You have your bubbly personality comes across in the chat, and that's really cool, Rose. And thank you for your compliment, Joan. I'm glad that you're going to stop back again, Rose. And we'll see you guys. Take care.